Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping right in today with well, a really startling development. It involves R. Kelly, who's obviously already serving a long sentence.
Yeah, it's quite something.
His legal team has just come out with some incredibly serious allegations. So our mission really is to unpack all of that. We want to understand the claims, the context of, where he is now, and look at the official responses. Or maybe the lack of responses.
Right.
We're going to break down the specifics we have from our source material just to give you the clearest possible picture of what's being said.
Okay, so to set the scene, R. Kelly's lawyers are alleging he ended up in the hospital last week. They're saying it was because of an overdose in prison.
An overdose.
But they're going further. They claim it was actually an attempt on his life. And this all comes from a report published by Entertainment Weekly on June 17th, 2025. That's the basis for our deep dive today.
Okay, June 17th. So let's get into the core allegations. The lawyer's filing goes into detail. It says early morning, June 13th. R. Kelly, he's 58 now, and serving that 30-year sentence, you'll remember, from 2021. Racketeering, sex trafficking, serious stuff.
Very serious.
So on the 13th, he apparently started experiencing severe symptoms. His attorney, Bo Brinley, put in that filing that Kelly woke up feeling faint, dizzy, started seeing black spots. Then he fell, actually lost consciousness.
Wow.
And this apparently was just 2 days after they put him in solitary confinement.
Yeah, that timing is something the lawyers are definitely highlighting. And their accusation gets really specific about how this supposedly happened.
Oh, so?
They claim prison guards gave him an overdose quantity of medication.
An overdose quantity?
Yeah, medication that they say was different from his usual anxiety and sleep meds, different dosages.
Yeah.
And what's really striking, they say the prison's own medical team couldn't actually treat him there.
On site, they couldn't handle it.
Apparently not. So he had to be rushed to an outside hospital. Needed 2 days of treatment there.
2 days.
Okay.
And the claims about what happened in the hospital, according to the attorney, that sounds just as, jarring.
It really does. The report says doctors found blood clots.
Where?
In his lungs and in both legs. I mean, obviously that's potentially life-threatening.
Absolutely.
But here's the real kicker in the lawyer's claim. Kelly was supposedly removed from the hospital against his will.
Against his will.
Yeah, and this is crucial against the doctor's directives before he got the surgery they said he needed for those clots.
Wait, before the surgery?
Before the surgery. And then, they claim, he was taken right back to solitary confinement.
Okay, that's an astonishing set of claims. It raises a lot of questions immediately.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
And, connecting this to their bigger strategy, Attorney Brindley didn't really mince words about this whole plot idea.
He addressed that head on.
Well, yeah. He said, basically, look, some people find it unbelievable that the Bureau of Prisons would plot to kill R. Kelly. But, he argues, the undeniable conduct of the officials themselves is proving the plot exists in real time, making it undeniable. Strong words.
Very strong. It makes you wonder, alleging a plot like that, is it about swaying opinion, maybe laying groundwork for appeals, highlighting perceived injustice?
It could certainly be part of the strategy, yes, emphasizing that narrative.
And crucially, what did the Federal Bureau of Prisons say? They're right at the center of this. Did Entertainment Weekly get a comment?
They tried, but the BOP declined to comment specifically on Kelly's condition.
Why?
They cited the usual reasons. Privacy, safety, and security. Which is, a standard response in many ways.
But it leaves a big gap, doesn't it? Compared to the very detailed story from the lawyers, that official silence is notable.
It is, and this whole alleged incident, dramatic as it is, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It seems to connect to other things Kelly's team has been doing recently. Well, just last week, even before this overdose story broke, his lawyers revealed they're actually seeking a pardon.
A pardon? For who?
From President Donald Trump.
Right. Okay.
And they also filed an emergency motion. They want him moved out of federal prison to home detention.
And what was the reason for that motion?
They claimed, and this was before the alleged overdose, that Bureau of Prisons officials had already cooked up a plot to have another inmate kill him.
So there's a pattern in their allegations. First, a plot involving another inmate. Now this alleged overdose attempt.
Exactly. It seems to be a consistent theme from the legal team right now.
And did the lawyer, Brindley, say anything specific about the pardon request itself? Why President Trump?
He did. It was quite a direct quote. He said, "We are in open discussions with people close to President Trump."
Okay.
And those discussions have expanded and intensified since we filed our motion. We believe that President Trump is the only person with the courage to help us, and our need only grows stronger by the day.
Wow. Only person with the courage? That's putting it out there.
It certainly is a bold statement. And, just for context for everyone listening, it's worth remembering R. Kelly's background here.
Yeah, the convictions are extensive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This 30-year sentence he's serving now, that's for the federal racketeering and sex trafficking conviction in New York. But that's not all.
Right. There were the Illinois state charges, too, from 2019.
10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. 4 victims, 3 of them were minors. A lot of that came out after the surviving R. Kelly docuseries, you might recall.
Yes, I do.
And then there's another federal case, separate one, in Chicago.
That was for child pornography.
Child pornography production and also child enticement, yeah.
So basically soliciting minors. That got him another 20-year sentence.
Though most of that runs concurrently, right? At the same time as the 30 years.
Correct. Most of it is concurrent. But still, it adds up to a very significant legal history defined by, well, deeply disturbing patterns.
Okay, so let's just recap the core of what we've unpacked in this deep dive for you. We've got these really serious allegations from R. Kelly's lawyers. Yeah.
An attempted murder, they claim, via an overdose. Then claims he was pulled out of the hospital against medical advice before needed surgery.
Right. And all this is happening while his team is also pushing for a presidential pardon and home detention.
Based on alleging this wider plot to kill him by prison officials, it's a lot.
It is a lot. And again, it's so important we stress, these are claims being made by his attorneys.
Yeah.
This is what Entertainment Weekly reported based on those claims.
And the Federal Bureau of Prisons has officially said nothing about the specifics.
Exactly. No comment on his condition. So you have to weigh those two sides, the detailed allegations versus the official silence. Understanding where the info comes from is key here.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. When you see these really detailed, quite frankly shocking allegations coming from a legal team about treatment within the prison system, and you put that next to the official no comment from the Bureau of Prisons, what does this whole situation tell us? Maybe about the challenges of getting transparency inside correctional facilities, especially with high-profile inmates and, the kind of legal strategies that get deployed in these really high-stakes defenses.
It's definitely something to think about. The intersection of celebrity, the justice system, and what goes on behind prison walls.
Something to consider long after this deep dive ends.